Next item number 1802018, consider the approval of the tentative planned residential development PRD for Traditions of America. Applicant number 2018-0024, subject to condition to be read, A346 single-family detached, aged, restricted development location on road, R2 zoning district. Applicant Traditions of America.
This is the PRD that has been reviewed by the Planning Commission, public hearing held by the Board of Supervisors, and it considers 348 lots on the former Console property to be developed in, I believe, a total of 7 phases.
346.
Yeah, 346. The developer is proposing to make improvements to relocate a portion of Pond Road as a part of the development, and the Board of Supervisors, I believe, has been presented with some conditions related to other things related to the development. And that's where we stand.
Very well. May I have a motion to start things off?
I'll make a motion.
A motion and a second.
I'll second that motion, but can I read into the record these conditions? I know it's going to be a little bit lengthy, but just for our protection.
Please do. Let's call this the amended motion. We'll get a second on that then.
Okay, so I'd like to. Okay. So the first condition is sidewalks 5 feet shall be installed on one side of the roadways within the development. 2, on or before the application for building permits on lots to be constructed in Phase 7 of the PRD, the developer must extend a road connection with temporary cul-de-sac and right-of-way line extending to the adjoining property to allow for a future road connection. The stub road is proposed across from lot 709. 3, before any certificate of occupancy be issued for any dwelling to be occupied by a third-party purchaser in Phase 1 of the PRD, the developer at his sole cost and expense will relocate and reconstruct 660 feet of Pond Road as shown on the PRD plans. The new section of Pond Road must be constructed to current township standards, including the required drainage, guide rail, and other
Amenities.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Yeah, I'm not trying to word. As approved by the township engineer. Developer will submit an improvement plan. Oh, I'm sorry. That's
On or
number 4.
before. Yes.
I'm sorry.
Number 4. On
That's
or
right,
before.
not before. You have a different version. I have a clean copy.
Okay.
4, developer will submit an improvement plan for Pond Road from the relocated section of Pond Road described in condition number 4 to Maple Lane for approval by the township engineer. The improvement plan will consider the environmental features, legal limitations, the sustainability and existing improvements, general development constraints and limitations on constructions such as steep slope, rock, railroad right-of-way, and existing utility locations along Pond Road. The improvement plan will comply with the township structural standards to ensure a structurally sound road. The improvement plan will widen Hahn Road to a minimum of 18 feet where possible, provided the cartway with maybe less than 18 feet in limited areas where the township engineer determines that a narrower width is required because of development constraints. Curbs will be provided only in limited areas as directed by the township engineer for purposes of controlling drainage. Guardrail will be installed in such locations where the township engineer deems appropriate due to the steep slopes adjacent to the cartway. The improvement plans will be submitted as part of the developer's Phase 1 final plan submission. Before any certificate of occupancy may be issued for a dwelling to be occupied by a third-party purchaser in Phase 1 of the PRD, the developer at his sole cost will expense will substantially complete the improvement plan as shown on the PRD plans. Condition 5. Prior to the start of the construction of Phase 1 of the development, the Hahn Road bridges south of the proposed site entrance and towards West McMurray Road that crosses the railroad and Chartiers Creek shall be inspected and bonding be provided in an amount approved by the township engineer. The bond shall remain in place for the duration of the construction of the PRD. Condition 6. Prior to the start of the construction of Phase 1 of the development, Hahn Road south of the proposed site entrance and towards West McMurray Road to the North Shore Township line shall be inspected and bonding be provided in an amount approved by the township engineer. The bond shall remain in place for the duration of the construction of the PRD. Condition 7. All final construction plans shall be subject to the approval of the township engineer as it relates to the work on local roads. Condition 8, payment for any and all costs required to meet these conditions shall be the responsibility of the developer. Condition 9, submission of final plans for each phase of the development shall be subject to the approval of the Township Board of Supervisors and shall adhere to requirements and standards of the Cecil Township Subdivision Unified Development Ordinance, including any and all amendments or pending ordinance changes at the time of the approval of the PRD. Condition 10, developer agrees to add these conditions to the tentative PRD plan and submit it with the Phase 1 final plans as the final PRD plan. The plan shall include signature lines for the township and recording clauses and be recorded at the Washington County Recorder's Office.
Very good.
Sorry.
Did you get that, Carol?
I did.
Carol, Carol, I have one, you can have this.
So let's call that the amended motion. May I have a second on that amended motion? I would like a second. Did the motion, but hers was a new amended motion. So I'd like a second for that.
I read those conditions in, that's
Correct.
what
Any further discussion?
Yeah, is there a reason why we can't have sidewalks on both sides? Why is it just on one side of the street?
Dan, do you care to address that or answer that?
I think that the compromise, at least when the board discussed this, was that a 4-foot sidewalk is not adequate for 2 people to pass by, that one 5-foot sidewalk would be adequate to service the plan and provide a complete loop for people to walk around. It's kind of tight as it begins with, as it goes right now. They do pull these pretty close to the road. If you recall, there was a discussion about having enough distance for a car to park in the driveway and still be able to walk by. So this sidewalk, the 5-foot sidewalk will provide enough room to push the houses back just a little bit more. I think it'll be adequate. But again, that's a preference, sidewalks on both sides of the street. It's really not an engineering decision.
That's true. Was that topic brought up though, or I think that was discussed at our last?
The board reviewed the matter.
Any further discussions? Frank, you got anything else? No?
Is somebody going to be monitoring the compaction on these? Monitoring the compaction on the dirt when they move the
Yeah,
dirt?
every project in the township is required to, number one, put a note on the plan that they have to be in compliance with the technical report for the project. There's testing that's required. That's a subject of every pre-construction meeting we have for a subdivision and land development. Prior to any of the public improvements being accepted, the developer's engineer who did the inspections has to provide a certification that all the dirt work has been done in accordance with the specifications. So we sort of have like 3 layers of protection on that, Ron. So to answer your question is, yes, we look at it.
I just don't want to end up like Mr. Payne over there or anything, you know?
Yeah, I understand that. I'll just tell people what I've said to other people is, it's a really strange time. Our office is seeing almost a landslide a week. I'm joking, attest to that. And it's not just new development, it's old development, it's other places. It's just extraordinary conditions that we're seeing with the amount of rain right now. We do live in a landslide-prone area. If the work is done and engineered properly, there's no issues. In this case, what's happened in North Strabane is unfortunate, but there's definitely always reasons, and usually the reason is that there's water in the slope. And if you don't drain it away, it'll slide. So, but we will have controls, and we do have controls on all the existing development now related to compaction. And the other thing too, that probably 10 years ago, Ryan Holmes and a lot of the other builders got smart. They started putting in rear yard storm sewers too, so that all houses have connections for the roof drains. You drain on the high side to the street or a storm sewer, and on the high side you drain in the rear. There's a rear yard storm sewer. So that's very helpful. We don't put any more water from the house on the slope too.
questions from the board? May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Ron Flair, second.
Well,
You've already made.
wait, I made a motion. Please don't make me.
Amended? Are
Sorry.
we amended? No?
No, it's not, I made a motion, I read it, and Ron seconded, it's
All
not
right.
for it.
Clear.
I'm not.
So no more questions, we're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Very well. Chair will allow the record to show 3-1. With Frank in opposition.